Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Even People Show. I'm your host, Martin Matthews, and tonight we're going to have some fun like we always do. But if this is your first time joining the show, I'm your host. What's up, peoples? I'm an author of a book called Love, Life, Confrontation, Expression, Selections from the Chronicles of a Black Man. Available in Jamaica in Fontana pharmacies, available worldwide on Amazon.com. Now, I have an extra special show for you tonight. And the reason why I have an extra special show for you tonight is because I have my extra special co-host with me tonight. Now, Venice Williams is the Even People Show legal team, all by her singular individual. And I only bring her in when I have some heavy topics that I'm fixing to get trouble in. Usually, I'll reach out to the legal team and say, "Hey, can I do a show like this?" And they say, "Nah, I'm gonna put you in trouble." I'm not sure how this one got passed. I have no idea how she okayed this one because this one probably go put both of us in trouble. But without further ado, my co-host, the glamorous and fantastic Venice Williams.
Woo!
Hello, my dear. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm sipping on some rum and
Shh,
Pepsi.
you can't tell the people them. You can't. Oh, what is man? These people are gonna put it. You're just into the mood to put us both in trouble tonight, aren't you? Man, oh man. But Venice, it's lovely to see you. It's lovely to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
There you go. So tonight we're gonna talk about man shortage. Now, I think the narrative that I put out there said, is this really a thing? Is this phenomenon really a thing? Is it really happening? Is it a thing? And like, what are the variables that are leading to this or contributing to this being a thing, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. I have a bunch of points. I'm just gonna throw them out there, and then we just go. I just want to hear what your thoughts are on them because I can always count on you to just break it all the way down for me. All right, so check this. um First statistic I researched said 38% of women graduate from 38% more women graduate from colleges than men. Would you say, is this a variable? Is this a variable, or is this like a America thing, or do you think this is a everywhere thing?
Well, it is a everywhere thing, but the question though, Martin, does that have to do with how women select men?
True. Is so okay. So let's look at that. Is education, or a man's education level and potentially his intellectual capabilities, are those things that women actually factor in choosing a mate? Is that a legitimate variable in this day and age?
That's the correct thing in this day and age. It was, but not quite so anymore. You
Okay,
know,
so what are the variables? What are the driving forces now as far as it
technology.
relates to how they get through? Say that again.
Technology has caused people to become more, have more entrepreneurial spirits. And so they don't see the need to go to colleges and universities. And so what is happening is that they have more access to money, fame, and exposure. And so even though they don't have the intellectual ability to fit in a classroom,
Mm-hmm.
a female will see such male and be like, wow, he's rich, he can do this for me. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So, but if that is the case, wouldn't that make more males eligible? And wouldn't that negate the whole concept of the man shortage
No,
situation?
no. So what that does is to make the male pompous.
Ah,
Yeah, and him feel full of himself, I'm a man now. So he feels that him can get just about anybody that he can get because he
okay,
have access to those things. But deep down, he's really shallow.
okay. But then at the same time too, before I take this comment here from Nikki friend, if he's shallow, wouldn't she be just as shallow? Seeing that that
No,
is,
no, the thing is she's desperate. She wants to belong.
and because he can get
And
that.
that's where the shortage, you see, because there's a conversation about shortage, and it is a real reality. So
Mm-hmm.
you will have in Jamaica, I would say you have it's 6 to 1, seem like, right?
Okay.
So she will feel the need to settle with such an individual.
But the mathematical, the census statistics don't support that. The eligibility statistic might, but the census, the raw numbers don't really support that. As
No,
far as the 6 to 1
it's no, I'm looking at who is qualified though.
eligible.
And yes, and so you'll find women dating down because they can't find people within their category to partner with.
All right, stick up in there. Stick up in there. Let's see what Nikki Friend is saying. Some women do look at educational level, however, it's becoming a blockage now finding a man. So for the woman, then you said some women don't. For the women that are in fact looking for the intellectual man, so to speak, let's assume that college education makes you an intellectual man. That's a whole nother thing for another time. But let's just make that assumption.
Hmm.
Does that limit her options?
Yes, it does. So,
But you're saying it's not as significant as the
no,
statistics
no, because
imply?
sometimes the reality kicks in, and the reality, um, you'll find a female try to stay on the path of what it is that she wants. But then if there is so many outside factors that is causing her to double down and check herself and am I really being realistic? I'm
Hmm.
about to become 35. I'm about to become 40, and I have to find somebody before I get to this age. My clock is ticking. I need to get a kid. So there's a lot of things that will change her views as to what it is that she truly wants.
I
So
have a
she will
question to ask.
compromise.
I have a question to ask in relation to that, but let me address these two comments here. First, Vimba is saying, but it depends on the kinds of conversation you're looking for in the man. So I guess that would depend whether or not the intellectual aspect of it is factored in as a variable or not. Nikki is saying there are many men who are not college graduates but are blue collar workers who are eligible. What is dating down? Okay, I like that.
Okay, so dating down means that you'll have, for example, a doctor
Hmm.
who is not able, say she's 40,
Hmm.
and she's not able to find the guy that she's looking for,
Right.
right? So she may say that she needs somebody who is as qualified as her. If he's 40, I'm thinking should be thinking that he should be financially stable.
Hmm.
He should be emotionally available. He should be present. He should not be married. And so she'll have those criterias. So while going through her life, she realized that, oh my gosh, I find John, but he's financially available, but he's not emotionally available. He has two baby mothers. Or, so John don't fit all those, she can't tick all those boxes.
Right.
So she goes to a bank teller.
Right.
So that's dating down. So she finds a bank teller who have the capacity of being trained up to her
Hmm.
standard,
Right.
and she would train him up. I don't want anybody to think that is a dog kind of thing, but you know what I mean when I
Yeah.
say
It depends.
train
It
up.
sounds
So
like it
he might
depends
not
on.
have been exposed as her. So
Mhm.
she will find a bank teller and train him up to be around her kind of people and how she would want him to be. So that's
Mhm.
dating down.
It depends on. So it sounds like it depends on what ultimately your first pick was. If
Yes,
you had everything the way you wanted, this is the person you would have been with. But because you cannot get this person, you will then choose these other person who have these things, but don't have quite everything that I would have wanted.
correct.
Okay. All right. So how about this one? Um, and this is a ticklish one a little bit. It says 9 to 12% of men. Now, this statistic was in Manhattan. This paper that I had read, they were talking about Manhattan specifically, and they were saying it is just impossible for a single woman to find a man in Manhattan. The 38% of college graduates was the one thing. The other one was that 9 to 12% of men are gay.
Hmm.
What does that do to the dynamic available of availability of eligible candidates for women?
So, Martin, that is the big one, right?
Really?
So you have men who are single, but they're confused as to what their sexuality is. And
Mm.
because of, I mean, who they want to be with, right?
You mean
So,
whether they want to be with a male or a female?
are female or bi. And
Ouch.
so what is happening now is that male is not willing to commit to a female because he has mixed emotions. He wants to be with a man sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and he wants to be with a woman sometimes. And so that is a good chunk of men, to be honest. I mean, if you really look at men today, Martin, them not really act altogether straight, you know. I mean, the eyebrow. No, seriously. No, if you really should look at it, guys, the eyebrows are shaved,
Mm.
not neat up, shaved. They are doing the pants them tight. Them a do a little bit too much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like them like the feminine look, but them
Mm-hmm.
still want to be masculine. So
Them
like
upkeep, them upkeep too, them upkeep up.
yes, so you kind of have to side-eye that one because him just might be confused as to
Right.
who he wants to be with. So
So
and that's
that those are, I
essential.
would say we file it under characteristics of the shortage or
Right. So you
contributing
can't even
factors.
choose from those set, that percentage.
All right. All right. Now, what about the whole demand and supply thing now? Initially, you started off by saying that it makes some men kind of aloof, kind of cocky because them figure say, hey, I check enough of the boxes that any woman would want. So because of that, I can just do whatever. Does that mean are those men actually considered eligible bachelors or are those men just crosses?
Well, there are crosses, but a lot of female will consider them appropriate to be with because them come with a lot of goodies, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But do you want goodies or you want peace of mind? You know what I mean? So they come with the gift giving because they can afford to do it, and that makes a lot of female happy when they can receive love in the eyes of something in a package or a trip or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
But do remember and always know that such an individual, because of what they offer, you will have a lot of competition with other females. So you don't have peace of mind, you're always stressed, you're always having some sort of argument with that individual. And
Mm-hmm.
so your life, even though you're in a relationship and you're happy to the public, you're miserable on the inside. So,
Mm.
so I don't know if I can really remove them out of the percentage, because
Right.
a whole heap of female gravitate towards men who can give them things and
But
give
then at
them.
the same time, though, at the same time, would they actually have that man, though?
No, they
Like, would
don't.
that man
They're
actually be
sharing.
theirs, or would
No,
that man
that
just
man.
be as their supplier?
No, that man is emotionally unavailable. That man is not present, right? That man is emotionally disturbed. There is some underlying things that is causing him to be all over the place. So
Mhm.
there's some childhood trauma or something, So
So
yeah,
he's really not an eligible candidate because
no, he's
he need
not.
to go sort out some stuff for himself
Yes,
before he
but
can
he will get
actually get.
through life. He will get through life because of,
He'll get enough.
yes.
All right, let's see what Nikki Fried says. There are more women than men statistically. Um, in New York, I think we're going for there. So there are not enough men, period. Most men say there is no need to settle down with one woman when there are so many women.
Yeah, they don't
So it's
need
just
to. They feel like they don't need to. And that is why, if you look at the home, marriages are broken easily. I mean, if you look at 10 years ago to now, you have more divorces now than then, because people now, they don't have, the men don't have to settle. They don't have to worry about getting another woman. Even
hmm
even walking out at 50 years old,
hmm
that man will have a lot of
well
women.
for option same way.
Correct. A
Golly.
woman walking out at 50,
Yeah, yeah.
poor thing.
Plant. They didn't water.
Poor
But
thing.
okay,
Worse,
how
worse
about
is
this one here?
like, huh?
I said, how about this comment here? Nikki's saying that, in fact, in New York, it's the opposite of what you're actually saying. Women are actually paying men to be with them, paying for dates, trips, etc.
Nikki, you're so correct. That is the other side of this, the problem that we're discussing. Because there's the conversation that that men are short. Women feel like they need to do the extra stuff to keep a man. So Nikki is correct. So you'll find women paying men to actually be with them,
Wow.
because
Is
they're desperate to be with someone.
it's like you're at the auction. Is that I remember when we were in college, we used to have this auction to raise funds for whatever, and they'd sell off the first years, and
Mhm.
they you literally bid on the person, and whatever you end up you'd have to pay. So that's what we're saying is happening right now. That
Well, well,
200. Do I get 250? 250. Do I have 300?
well, yes, for some women, but I'm going to leave my comment for the end, my recommendation
Okay.
for the end.
All right. All right. So let's look at this. And this one is a tad ticklish, just a tad ticklish. But this one says, the longer, oh boy. Oh boy. Let me take a sip here. It says the longer a woman entertains a casual sex relationship, the more likely she is to end up alone.
Yeah, that is true, because you would be spending all your youthful years with a guy who really don't want to be with you, or men who really don't want to be with you. Or if it is that you are saying, okay, I need to get this out of a man, get that out of a man, you're really dating around, and by the time you're ready to settle down, you're saying you want a high value man, but they don't want you anymore because just all
You're
used up
spent.
somewhat.
So now, are we saying then, is it theory then that every woman wants to settle down? Is that a thing?
No, I don't think so. I think the settle down, some women get to the point where they feel that they're not gonna compromise, and those women are not willing to settle down just because.
Okay.
But they're saying if it happens, but I am not going to do this, and I'm not going, they're going to create boundaries, to protect themselves.
Hmm.
So those female who are strong enough to know that a man does not dictate their life and how they live, then those females don't want, wouldn't do that. But then the other ones will.
There's too much low hanging fruit.
Yes.
Aye, so nobody don't want to climb the tree no more. They just want to stand up and go and pick fruits up. Aye, aye, aye. Okay. So I'm not sure if this contradicts something we've looked at before, but it said 60% of women are willing to walk away if the man isn't ready. Would you say that is true or not so?
60% is
Our
high.
women are willing to walk away if a man is not ready. So say they say, all right, we get together. We're scouting out each other as eligible candidates. And we get to the point where I'm like, yeah, you're not actually into what I'm into. You're not ready for what I'm ready for. Is
Okay,
it saying
so
that 60% of women will walk away from that?
well, I would agree with that number, Martin, if you're saying 60% of professional women who are financially secure
Okay.
will walk away. I will accept that 60%. But that I think that figure is a bit high to say 60% in general, because
Okay.
you have a lot of there are quite a bit of females out there who want that financial stability of having a partner, with them, to be able to share in the expense with the
Hmm.
kids. And so they will do anything to keep that guy. So
Right.
they will not walk away that easily. Women
Cash
will know
cow.
that their husband or their partner is cheating, and they will stay in the relationship because she knows that she's not financially secure. So only high value women will just give the men a middle finger and walk away. But if you're really kind of struggling with the bills, I think you'll sit and take it.
Okay. All right. That's a fair assumption. Um, Now, how about this? A large percent of women meet their spouses. Well, a relatively large amount of women meet their spouses at work. And let's go back to where we started off talking about the college educated people and so on. If a large amount of women meet their spouse at work, and a lot of these professional women are in male dominated fields, what does that do for their chances? And how limited now does that even make their pool smaller than it would have been had they
Yeah.
not been in a particular field, or had they not been where they are in life, so to speak?
Yes, it does. It does make the pool very smaller, because as a high value woman,
Hmm.
you're not, once you're at a certain tax bracket, it is very difficult for you to date somebody else who is not there. And so the men who you would date, those men most times are already married. Most times.
Hmm.
Because imagine you have some money and you're just single, so no man,
Something wrong with you.
somebody will grab you up a long time. So most of the guys who would fall in her tax bracket would already have been taken, or going through a divorce, or got a divorce and not trying to settle down. They're just living life on their own terms. So
Hmm.
that woman have a real challenge in finding that partner.
Okay. All right. So All right, we're gonna play a game. Let's play a game. Let's play a game. The game we're playing is musical chairs. You're familiar with the game musical chairs?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So every woman have a chair. Every woman out there have a chair. And we're playing musical chairs. And in musical chairs, the music start to play, and women start to, and in our scenario, the women start to walk around. Okay. And somebody, a couple chairs get pulled. Okay. What are some of the, and let's just say those chairs are men. So we started off with a woman, every woman having a man. What would make a woman keep the man that she had? So say they come around and their man, what would make them push way another somebody if they try to grab back the man? What? And you never see musical chairs yet. You ever see people get serious with musical chairs? What would make a woman push way another woman to grab back the man when she did have?
Okay, so one, if that man makes her laugh.
Okay.
Two, if that man is stimulates her intellectually.
Okay.
If that man is financially stable and
Mhm.
emotionally available.
Mhm.
I
So
mean, that's
now let's say the game start with, and we're kind of reverse engineering our initial point here, but let's say the game start with 10 women and two man in the group meet that the criteria. What then would those women you think need to have for the man to be the one to pick them out of the 10?
well, this is because I do family law and I deal with divorce. I'm going to tell you the main thing that men complain about: a woman nagging, complaining, miserable. Boy, is she miserable. So, that for sure. Personality. And I know that a lot of people going to say this is not true, but men complain about physical, how their partner, they see their partner physically.
Mhm.
Um, Boy, when we got married, she was that this, and then after we get married, she just Lego herself. Since the kids, she just don't take care of herself anymore, and so I'm not connected to her physically, sexually.
Mhm.
And so men see with their eyes, women physically. So yes, giving peace. That's what I said. Misery. That's the
Mhm.
first thing.
Mhm.
And being able to be a homemaker. So homemaker, guys, I'm not telling you that you have to wash, cook, and clean, but just a homemaker in general. The man has a good home to come home to. He wants to come home to a peaceful home, to a clean home, to a good wife, like those things. So not necessarily the fact that you went and did your breasts and the all of that and your shape good, but much, much more than that, something more deeper than that.
Scene. I'm taking notes here. Taking notes. So, all right. So let's dial in here. We talk about we talk about the U.S. Talk about other parts in the world, other countries that have, the man ratio statistic is out of whack. How about we dial in Jamaica for a minute? Good, eligible, available men. Reiterate for us what that looks like.
You see my eye there, Martin? None of there.
Well, all right. So if they're not there, just tell us what they
Okay,
should look
so
like.
so what I'm seeing in my country
Mm.
is a lot of the men in Jamaica, them lie bad, them tell all heap a lie, them lie, them have two, three women one time, and that you alone them have that them tell you, right? And so that is a huge challenge for a lot of females in Jamaica. I say somebody right say a lie. But Martin, 3% then. If that person that probably want to fling in themselves, I don't know. But in Jamaica, the corporate, most of the corporate men are already married. And
Mm-hmm.
those corporate men who are married, them have side chicks,
Mm-hmm.
right? They have side chicks. And so that is like the norm here. You have a guy, but you know that him have another woman with you. That is what I'm seeing here where I live.
Mm-hmm.
So the choices are so limited. Um, that's one. Two, because we're just right next door to the US. Now the men here are adopting a lot of sexual practices that cause them to stray outside of the home because the wife is not willing to do it or the partner is not willing to do it. And that is another problem that is plaguing relationships here.
Them freaky turn up.
Yes. So that is what the limited, Martin, limited.
Now, so are we fighting a battle that we've already lost? Because
Meaning,
what's the comeback? What's the turnaround point? How do we get back to what normal is supposed to look like?
so,
Or
so
is that
that's
just a reality that is no longer a thing?
no, it can change. We have to retrain. Women have to understand that they are worth much more than what they think that they are worth. And so once women start to accept that, then they will stop taking all the bull from the men. You get what
But you
I'm
are gonna
saying?
have a weak link though. That sound like it need a level of
Yeah, yeah, but
solidarity among women where you're not gonna find.
you always are gonna have a weak link, but let that be in the small percentage. But we have to find a way to understand that we are worth more. And sometimes, Martin, it is way more than just saying that the pool is small. Sometimes a female in Jamaica will grow up through a lot of different things in different home setting where they are molested and different things, and so they don't feel so confident within themselves and just different things playing along with their emotions.
Mhm.
So one, healthcare, mental health care. If people need to accept that that is a thing now, that you need to find somebody, an outlet. If you don't have the money to find a therapist, an outlet, somebody to talk to. But we have to understand that we worth way more than we give ourselves credit for. We can do way better than we give our credit for, ourselves credit for. And we don't have to settle. We don't
All
have to
right. Well,
do
how about this? How
anything.
about countries in the world today that have normalized the what they call it, the big house, small house type situation, or normalize the wife and the side chick situation, and man not have to hide and do whatever anymore. Them just live and everybody accept that as normal standard practice. Is that an option?
That's not an option. No, it is not an option. It is not an option for countries who don't recognize that. We don't recognize that. I'm sure in the US, you
They do
guys
not.
don't
They do
recognize.
not.
And so we're not cultured that way. We're not trained that way. It is just being brought upon us. No, it is for us to say, we don't want this. We not taking this. Keep your money. I will be able to reach where I want to reach when I reach there. And so when you do that, you find that you have less stress because you want a bag, a Louis bag or whatever bag, or you want to be on Instagram, or
Hmm.
you're putting yourself out there to in harm's way. You know what I mean? So, you know, well, somebody said that.
Polygamous relationships are very common, but common is one thing, but accepted
It's
is another thing.
acceptable. Is it acceptable? It's not. It's
Okay.
not widely acceptable.
Are accepted. Now, um, I think we covered one of this. You just mentioned actually being used for a profile. You want to profile a particular way, whether on Instagram or wherever or among your friends. So you accommodate certain things because it enables you to look a particular way. So
Mm-hmm.
you can go take the picture at this place and that place and that place. All of them you have to take by yourself because you can't take no picture with the people, man. And but it allows you to live that profiled life. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? All right. So emotional intelligence, emotional availability. You did mention that before. Let's talk a little bit more about that. What does that look like really? Emotional intelligence, emotional availability, um, for a woman seeking a man.
Okay, so in my country, men were really taught to be tough. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're going like you're a girl, so stop going like you're a girl, man. And so men tend not to show their emotions. So when they're in a relationship now, a committed relationship with a female,
Mm-hmm.
and the female is expressing herself as to what it is that she's feeling, he's not able to connect with what she's saying. He's
Mm-hmm.
not able to show any sort of empathy. He's just okay, we tough up man, we are move say, and that is the problem. So they're not able to connect with us when we want them to connect with us emotionally. And we are not able to tell when they're hurting or when we hurt them because they don't talk about it. Because they're supposed to be tough and them can tough it out, but deep down they're hurting, and we're not sure what it is that is causing him to be hurt because he's not speaking to me. What
So.
is happening in the end, though, the frustration is either hit, it becomes physical,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm like, why are you hitting me? But there's this pent up anger because he's not able to express himself emotionally. So it's good to have a partner that you can connect with
Right.
emotionally.
Okay, and I think somebody had said that the Lord Dixon, you have got type fast, my youth. You are type too slow. We gone past it every time you every time you comment them come up. We gone past them point there. Type faster, man. Sure. Type faster. Okay, now we talked about what women need. Security, financial and emotional. Some women need an educated man. Now, I'm gonna mention something here, and this one was a big thing, especially among um church going Christian believing Christian type people. It was a big thing back in the day. It's a big thing now in several circles, and it's the whole not being unequally yoked with unbelievers. Now, unequally yoked, everybody typically tie that to religious beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And but unequally yoked can also mean intelligence, education, values, goals, right? Now, where does where does that fit in as far as finding somebody, and you did talk about dating down or marrying down or whatever, trying to bring somebody up. But if you really know, if you were supposed to say, all right, you are not going to be unequally yoked on any level, not religious, not intellectual, not educational, not where my values or goals are concerned. How much man left for Jamaica at the time? Wait, oh,
What?
let
One,
me see. Let me see.
one hand.
Let me see. One hand. Oh my word. But
Oh
then, all right. Let me freestyle here for a little bit.
gosh.
Let me freestyle here for a little bit. Now, what are we missing though? What are we missing? Because if this thing is so is so prevalent, if it is so widespread, if it is so everywhere you turn, where did we go wrong? When did, because everybody is born as a blank slate according to one sociologist or the other. What part of the training development process are we missing with boys, young men, that make them think that this is normal? Or is this actually, or do the women play just an equal role in the responsibility as the men do for what is now becoming normal or not?
Okay. So this actually starts from in the home for most Jamaican men. So you know, we all live into this big family kind of setting most times, and we have brothers, and we see the brothers then bringing in the girls um, to the house. We see them bringing a girl, and we see her for 3 months, and would she disappear, and we see another girl for another 3 months, and then we just say, "Yo, yeah, Gallus," and so that title, Gallus, him feel like, yeah, I'm the man. And then in addition to that, you also have, I don't care what people want to say, but I think music have a lot of influence over men and women,
Mhm.
right? And you have a lot of reggae music that speaks about girl in a bungle and all of those things. And you find
Oh
that
boy.
those kind of cultural behavior and cultural teaching, and you learn it over the period of time where your home accept the fact that you bring in girls every now and again, and your mother see it and your father see it, and there's no reprimand. It carries with you. And addition outside of the home now, the girls, the women see you with all your friends, and they see you with your things, your car and your money and your thing, and they know that you have a lot of women, and them still want you because they want to ride in the drop top. They want to be that girl, and they're willing to accept that lifestyle.
Them watch too much music video.
Fast forward now, that same woman becomes 35. She can't find a man yet. Now she want a perfect guy when she also encouraged that behavior. So it stems from childhood, and it is so hard. I don't know how we break out of that, because in Jamaica, them idolize man where a girl is.
So it's like the whole man if we have enough gal in a bungle scenario, we have attributed that with masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
I had this thing I came up with called the new masculinity. Is like what makes a man a real man? Is it because he have enough gal in a bungle, or is it because he goes out, identify a woman that he loves, and spend his life making that woman happy? You know what I mean? And they build something spectacular, or it's just a matter of him getting the high fives from the boys because him can go out every weekend and come home with a new one.
Well, the funny thing is that same guy will identify a woman that he loves and wants, but him still want that lifestyle outside of that.
So he wants to. Okay, okay. So it's almost like we have some default settings. We have some default settings that we are facilitating in the development of our children, and even when they are intellectual enough or whatever enough to identify the other side and what it should look like, the hardwired defaults are still making them default to something that the wider society really no have no use for, really.
Correct.
But then at the same time too, though, Vin, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. At what point does normal become normal? In the sense that, if this thing is so widespread and it is affecting so many people in so many countries, isn't that now what normal is?
Oh, so define what normal is first.
I would say normal is a behavior that is widely accepted by are practiced by most people in a particular geographic area.
And that would be your normal would be a man finding his mate, settling with his mate, having kids.
But that's what I'm saying. Is that what normal actually looks like? No.
No.
And where are we with the level? And have we passed the point now where, let's just for argument's sake, there's more of them than us?
Well, okay, so in Jamaica, that is not normal, right? But I still think in the States, if you should bring all the races together, that is still normal. You get what I'm saying? If you should
No,
bring,
say it again. Me miss it. Come again.
okay, if it's in Jamaica you're speaking about, it is not normal, right? Jamaica is the one man with three girl, two girl. That's normal now here. However, in the States, if we should bring all the races together, normal is still the guy trying to find a good woman to raise his children, to have children with, to build with, and to create to create generational wealth or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's still normal in the US. But if you should break it out into blacks and
Mm-hmm.
Hispanics and
Races. Yeah.
right, then you will see that for black people, mostly men, it might not be normal. The new normal would be gal in a bungle.
Okay. Leanne says she don't quite agree that that is the normal in Jamaica. So you believe, Leanne, then that most men in Jamaica are of the I should find one woman and settle down with that one woman mind? Or
I
did
would
you just
like
type
her to
slow?
answer that question. Leah, answer.
Maybe she just typed slow and she thought you were saying the flip side before you actually clarified what you were saying. Let's hear it, Leanne. If you and Delorn just type slow. All right, so we're talking about man shortage. We're talking about the reasons why men are short. We're talking about um, what contributing factors there are to this whole shortage. Now, here's what I want to find out: how much of this are women actually responsible for? I know we touched on it before, but how much of this man shortage situation, or what the now byproduct or new normal as we're postulating, how much of that does women have their hand in?
Boy, that's such a hard question, Martin, because I don't even know if I can say. I don't even know if I can say women are responsible. So Leah is
She's saying you do have men that will settle with one woman and they have come to realize that womanizing doesn't make sense.
yeah,
Okay,
but what is the percentage
what is
though?
the percentage, Leanne? That's what we're saying.
Yeah, the percentage is the issue. So that's when you have a small percentage of men who feel that way, but that's not the norm. Okay, so I was saying that it's very hard to answer that question because I don't know if I can say women facilitate that kind of thing because they actually do genuinely believe that they have to settle because of the fact that them can't find a mate
Mm-hmm.
for one reason or the other. Oh no, no, 45%.
Wait a minute.
45% of Jamaican men are single with one they are in a singular relationship with their partner.
Wait a second. You don't your experience that you see don't support that.
No,
Well,
no.
boy, Leanne, Amanda, where she live?
Oh, oh
Maybe
no.
I not a go on Amanda.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Amanda, maybe I not go on Amanda.
Boy, the divorce ratio in Jamaica doesn't support what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the when you look at the
Single
different
parenting, single mothers too.
single, exactly, when you look at the court system as to the single mothers and what they're going through, when you look at the therapy, persons who are going through therapy, um, just the different buckets of emotional issues in Jamaica that touches and concern family does not support a 45%. So you do have a lot of men who are married, but they're not faithful. So women may feel that they are just home with their husband alone, but that husband have a side chick. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
at 45% is really, really high.
Um, Divorce rate because people get married for the wrong reasons. But what is the wrong reasons, though, Lee? And even if they get married for the wrong reasons, is the argument that we're putting forward a part of the or one of the contributing factor leading to the divorce? So
Most
whatever the
likely.
reason might have been, right or wrong, is the divorce actually, or is having side relationship actually a contributing factor to the divorce? And if it is, then it really don't really matter, I mean, as far as how or why the marriage came about in the
So,
first place.
so Leo, I got married way too young. I got married at 23, right? So let us use me because I got married at 23 and I was married for 15 years. I got a divorce, and it's not because I married too young, it's because of infidelity. You know what I mean? So, not marrying too young is not the issue. If you choose to marry, then that's the person that you marry. The age shouldn't matter.
And if that person actually fits the criteria that we postulated, the equal yoke, intelligent, whatever, and them stick to it, on work it out.
Correct.
All right, then. Leon, I appreciate you though, my dear. She fight the good fight. Wrong reasons against them because of a lack of communication. The initial stage was okay, but they're going to the stage it's and they didn't mesh. Yes, that is absolutely right. Let me see, lack of communication can also lead to infidelity. Yes, it can, but at the same time, if the infidelity ultimately becomes the camel, the straw that breaks the camel back, then we're kind of right where we started.
Lack of communication should not cause infidelity. It should cause you to go and do therapy. It should not cause infidelity. That's that. Don't find an excuse for lack of communication. If you're having issues and both of you can't communicate, then you go to a third party to assist. You don't go to a woman to assist.
Yeah, that's never gonna work. That's
Yeah.
not gonna get you where you're trying to get to. All right, so we're talking about man shortage, and for better or for worse, whether we agree on all the contributing factors, there is a man shortage. There is a eligible bachelor shortage out there. There are a lot of professional and not and non-professional women out there that are single, not by choice per se, but if there were eligible candidates out there, they would be with said eligible candidates. They are not with said eligible candidates because they're just not present. Right?
Mhm.
Now, what advice, I guess, then would you give to both sides of that equation, both the
Well,
women that are out there and and the men?
well, I'm a firm believer in to stick it out, Martin. I believe that if it is that you have certain, just like life, if you have certain goals and aspiration, you go and get that. I believe if you're looking for this or that in a particular man, that you should stick it out because that's what you want and that's what you will receive. That's what I believe. So I'm not gonna compromise on my happiness, on my peace. And so I think women must be more deliberate in what it is that they want to achieve out of a relationship. and they're not to be so desperate to tick a box or to get hitched because I'm getting older, because I feel like that's the best I can do. You can always do better. You can always do better.
All right, check this one here. Check. Let's tackle this one here. It says, does this ultimately come down to individual preference, or shall we let people live the life they've accepted to live, or has a certain society been created that we need to change?
Well, it does come down to individual preferences, of course. Um, it comes down to that. It is can I accept being with a guy knowing that he's with somebody else? For me personally, no. But maybe for some other female, yes. So I don't know.
Individual preference. All right. How about this? She says, I'm provoking thought here. Who says men are short? Couldn't it be the case where you have men who have been hurt, just stay home and keep low key relationship because the relationship didn't work? Mandeville man different for you. A long time I left Mandeville. A long time I left Mandeville. Leon, it's possible. First and foremost, it is possible, but I don't think the statistics would. I think that's the unicorn. I think what you're describing is the unicorn, the not the rule. That would be the one that's the outlier, and I'm sure there's one or two out there, but I do not think that that is what normal looks like. I think men deal with being hurt by women in different ways. And a lot of times, more often than not, I don't think going home and crying into their pillow is the way they go. You have some that respond violently, and you have some that go do road in retaliation or response to whatever happens. They go home and cry into their pillow. I don't think that's the way they go. You know what I mean? All
That's
right.
more female.
That's more how women deal with that. Now, any last comments before we bounce? Because we ran a little long here, and I still want us to actually read a poem before we leave. Final thoughts.
No, no final thoughts.
No final. Hey, praise Jesus. All right, so you're on the Even People Show. We're not going to jump off the Even People Show before we read some poetry. That is just what we do here. That is just our jam. So we're going to read a poem. We're going to talk about it for a few minutes, and then we're going to bounce because we did run a little long. As usual, the poems coming from I book, Love Life Confrontation, expressions, selections from Holy Papasa Pasa in a Life. The poem we're going to read is called Toxic. Now, how you want to read Toxic, Venice? How you want to do Toxic today?
You go.
You want me to read the whole thing? She wants me to read the whole Toxic. All right, this is Toxic Part 1. The book also has Toxic Part 2 and Toxic Expressions. Toxic Part 1, written in 2014, says, and as we read Toxic, I want y'all to think about what we've covered. I want y'all to think about the talk we had about everything and see if this situation is in fact one of them toxic situation or has any hints of what we've been discussing this evening. All right, so ignoring the warning labels, cruising past danger signs, disguising the obvious as fables, overtaking on double lines. The probability for bodily harm, falling prey to boyish charm.
Hmm.
Invariable result, like being beaten to a pulp. A deadly mixture brought about by two, fatal attraction that subdues. The end result not sought, the obvious toxicity it brought. The lure of the familiar, the ease of the connect, the that which comes after, the unforeseen next step, the enticement of the challenge, forbidden nature of its end, out of control with no way to manage, so good must be God sent. Harmful in its nature, harmless to the taste, hosting an inner creature, toxic is its name. Ay, 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 like Louis Betty.
Boy, that sound like some man where you can't do without it.
So tell me, Belis, what comes to mind? What comes to mind? You say sound like some man you can't do without. What comes
You
to
know,
mind? You
someone where
come
you
like
know
this.
bad for you, but you still go back.
Come again?
Some man where you know bad for you, but you still go back.
Some man where you know bad for you, but you still go back. It's because
That's
it
what
starts
that
off.
is about.
That's what it's about. Yeah, it starts off by saying ignoring warning labels,
Yeah,
cruising past danger
yeah.
signs. So
There's
it's like
there's always the red flags. I will
red
just
light flashing, warning light flashing, and you're gone, say away.
and then the fourth stanza that says the ease of connect. You know, the lure of familiar, the
Uh-huh.
ease of connect. That
So it's
is
like,
always what gets you to go back. You know, I already know him, I know him stay, but one thing, but you know that
right,
but that gets you to go back, and then you go
yep,
back, and then you start
yep.
fussing and fighting, and you leave and you go back. Yeah, that's what that is about.
Yeah. So how about this line? The second to last stanza says the enticement of the challenge, the forbidden nature of its end. This sound like this is like not the main chick. This is a side chick. It's the enticement of the challenge. Like this guy, I know this guy in mind, but I know if I do this to him, if I
Yes.
put it on him that particular way, he can't go about it. The forbidden nature of it, and out of control with no desire to manage because it's so good.
I
It
mean,
must
it's
be
like
bad.
chocolate cake, you know, going to the gym every day and still eating chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake, the reggae. Chocolate cake.
So yes, so that is a guy who you know that is not you're not supposed to go there.
Yeah.
He's married. You have to hide and go see him, but
Mm-mm.
him just touch the button there, the right button there,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
you know.
Man, I saw hide and G Cole mess up himself by you. You come late, my dog. We say I some hide and lick situation, man.
Yep,
Man, me like
but
it.
it
So how
feels
about the
good.
last? Come again?
But it feels good,
It's
even though
it.
it's if loving you is I want to be right.
You see, that's a very Nikki Fanny said you should not ignore. Hold on, that's Betty said yes, chocolate cake, chocolate cake. Nikki has said don't ignore the warning labels. When you see the danger sign, you have to stay out, right? But so check this. The last stanza says harmful in its nature, harmless to the taste, hosting an inner creature, toxic is his name. So it's like harmful in its nature, but it's harmless to the taste. So it's almost like you know that this this ain't supposed to be
You
happening.
know, say if the wife find out and she come down to your workplace,
It now go pretty, but it comes off harmless. It's harmful in
but
its nature,
she's
but it's
not gonna
harmless
find
to the
out
taste.
because
Come again?
she's not gonna find out.
That's what
That's
you tell
what I
yourself.
tell myself. That's
And
what.
as long as I keep it on the other side of town, we good to go. But
Mm-hmm.
you know that it go. You know it has the propensity to blow up at any time.
Yep.
Boy, toxic for true. It's toxic for true. All right, how about this one? We're going. This is the last time that we're going to talk about. And this one, I saw you responded to this one, and I was reading it. It says the probability of bodily harm. The wife catch you falling prey. The probability of bodily harm falling prey to boyish charm. The invariable result, like being beaten to a pulp. Talk to me about that, about the argument.
Okay, so let us switch from the wife situation and just let us talk about me being in a relationship with a guy that I think that I love, but he's abusive.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of when he's not abusive, he's a sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
So he will beat me up, tell me that he's sorry, it's me cause it to happen to me. And I said, oh, okay. But and then I go back.
Mm-hmm.
because it feels good. It is familiar.
Yeah, you're
Easy.
falling prey to boyish charm.
Yes,
In a sweet talk and you're falling
yes.
back feet every time. So G Cole has joined the building. I can't have G Cole in the building. I'm gonna highlight him. G Cole, Mr. Pasa, aka Mr. Pasa Pasa himself, says man shortage, which is our topic. He says it's a good season for single men. Live it up and enjoy, fellas. Do you think that is the general consensus of
Yes,
how
it
men
is.
are dealing with it right now?
No, but yes, it is. You guys feel like you're in Candyland. You guys feel like you're in Candyland because, oh, everybody, want you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what's happening. So Mr. Cole is correct.
Mr. Cole is correct. But sorry you joined late, G, cause I bounce we out for bounce you now. All right, then. Toxic, man shortage. Or we should tie them together. Man shortage, toxic. Or a toxic man
So
shortage.
Martin, how you feeling? You feeling very good now, right?
Sorry, what?
How do you feel?
What are we
Give,
talking about? What are
give,
we talking
give.
about?
How you
Ajay, Ajay,
feeling,
draw me
like
out.
Mr.
I,
Cole?
I'm sorry, what now? Ajay, Ajay, draw me out, Ben. Don't, Ben, listen. We've been friends for a minute. Don't bother the foolishness. Don't bother the foolishness. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate y'all. I do appreciate y'all every time, all the time. Venice Williams, my dear, it was lovely, lovely, lovely having you on the Even People Show as always. And like I'm trying, so for the people out there, I'm trying to make Ben my permanent co-host. Like, but of course, the show keeps Saturday night and she busy and gonna party and all these things. But we still negotiating the deal. If we can get her on every week, every other week as my co-host, and she just mix it up every time, like how she mixed it up now. But until such times, any last words for the peoples, my dear?
Well, I really hope that one day we'll get back to normalcy where
There.
men do care about family and seeing their family through.
Hmm.
Um, Also understand the importance of a unit and just to ensure that their children are able to see what it is like to live a family life. Because having that good family structure will definitely help you as you grow along. However, on the flip side, like what Mr. Cole is saying, sometimes we can't be that selfish about life. So, yes, you can live it up, but if you are in a house with your kids and living it up, what is it that you're teaching them? Is it easier to just change the how the dynamics of new normal, or is it that we'd want to go back to just being,
Oh,
yes,
hold on, you see?
a woman, yes, woman must stop give jacket. But that is another day.
That's
Oh,
another day.
that is another day.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Ivan. Like I said, been lovely, my dear. Do take care. All right.
All right, bye.
All right, peoples. I appreciate y'all. I really do. I really do. I always do. Um, the Even People Show thanks you for staying tuned with us for this hour and 7 minutes. We're talking about man shortage and whatever your viewpoint is on the matter, wherever you fall in that whole category of things that we mentioned, you know, you can follow what everybody else is doing. You can follow what works for you. You can hold out or you can give in. However you want to play the game, it's your game to play. Play it to win. Either way, and I don't know if that's the right thing to tell you, but that's what I'm telling you, anyways. And that's it. I'll join y'all next week. And until then, stay safe out there. Oh, yeah. Lastly, before I go, some banner them there. It's breast cancer month. And me have a whole heap of banner telling us, yeah, be aware of the thing, get some tests, support the people, them go walk, do one of them breast cancer walk, do something about something regarding breast cancer. It's that time it affects a lot of our women, and we love our women, right? Bless up for yourself.